Okay, so I'm just gonna talk some details about a story that happened here on the Tower Bridge. Walking on the Tower Bridge right now. It's a beautiful time of day, really. Let me just get everything I have in order. I'm have another phone here, but I've been getting details from the investigator that's been working on the case for the past a little over 10 years or so. So make sure I have everything correct. So this is kind of a crazy story, and it happened right here about 30 years ago. Happened here, on the Tower Bridge. So it happened in 1987. The bridge tender, who's pretty much kind of in charge when the bridge kind of goes up, when a boat goes underneath, he was told, at the time they said that he was drunk. He was at a 1.18. And so it was at night and it was pretty dark, and there was a truck driving through the bridge right here, and he turned off the bells and automatic lights for you to know to stop. That truck went underneath and it went right into the river. There was a homeless person that just saw it right around here, and he went in trying to save them, and he drowned. So 3 people died. There was the homeless man, the 2 people in the car, but 1 survived. I was gonna let that guy go through. So what's kind of crazy about this story is that they never figured out who this John Doe is, who tried to save all these people and drowned in the process. I was going through newspaper articles, and it was kind of crazy because there was 2 people who claimed to be that person. Hi, Tony. So there was one person. I'm going to pull up some of the articles. When I went to Yolo County, and so the reason why Yolo County is was in charge of it, was that the John Doe's body was found on the Yolo County side and not on the Sacramento side. But I don't know if you can see this. Maybe I'll try to put it in my Facebook post here. But there are just so many articles. Let me see. Let me see. Can you see that? Okay, so many cool articles. Oh, I think it's gonna keep flipping. But they're all from 1987, and there's headlines like, "Who was a Tower Bridge hero?" He was and then they talked about how they cremated a drifter, and another guy came and said that it was his brother. It was kind of a hot mess, because in one of the articles, I want to make sure that I'm saying it right. One of the headlines said, "Another goof in Bridge Hero Saga." So they keep calling him this hero, but they never figured out who it was. Well, fast forward about 30 years later, his daughter is trying to figure out whatever happened to her dad. And she's in Iowa. We're talking about here in Sacramento. Over in Iowa, she's been trying to figure out what happened to her dad. Last time she saw him was when she was 3 years old. And at the time, he was wanted for robbing a bank. And then he disappeared right after that. Well, a year later is what happened here in the Tower Bridge, where the people were killed and the guy, sorry, that kind of scared me. This whole thing happened on the Tower Bridge. She was doing a lot of research, and then she was figuring out, maybe my dad went to California. He went to California before. And then she was able to match him based on, it's on my other phone, so I'll put that in there too, based on his sketching she saw, and also his body. And then when she matched DNA with her grandmother, it was a match, and it was her dad. So I just talked to her. We were just over here and we were sharing stories, and she was awesome. She was so great. She was talking about how her grandmother, she wanted to really do this for her grandma, because she wanted her grandma to know what happened to her son. Oh, hi, Leslie. Oh, thanks for the compliment. But just wanted to give you kind of a background of this story, because it's pretty crazy, and I want to share with you. I'm going to put some of my newspaper clippings in there, but if you want to get more information on the story, I'll be updating you guys on the newspaper clippings, which I thought was really interesting, and also the story as well. But we're here on the Tower Bridge, and it's kind of amazing. 30 years later, this daughter figures out what happened to her dad, and I thought it was super cool that, I'm kind of rambling here, but that she thought it went from wanted to hero pretty much, because her dad, they never charged him because he kind of disappeared, but they always believed that her dad was the one that robbed the bank in Iowa. And growing up, last time she saw her dad was when she was 3 years old, and thought he was a bad guy, but it was her dad, so she never felt any anger towards him. But one thing that she did mention to me that she really wanted to let people know is, if you do have someone missing, or you don't really know, if you haven't really heard from them in a long time, to make sure to put their information in this national database. That was how she figured out the match with her dad. The woman at Yolo County who was investigating this case, she put the man's information in 2011 in that national database, and then the woman, the daughter, did it last year, and that's how they were able to make that connection. So a big message that she has for everyone. But I'm gonna try to figure out, oh, there's our photographer Hosea back there. I just want to make sure where he was. But just let me know if you have any questions. It's kind of a crazy story, and I'm always intrigued by missing persons cases, especially when cold cases are solved. So let me know if you have any questions. There's a lot of details out there, and also I'm going to attach some of those newspaper articles because I thought it'd be kind of interesting to let people know, because there was a lot of things that happened. People, not people, but you'll see. I'll put the newspaper articles in there.